Let's talk about your job. And I don't mean your to-do list or all those meetings. I mean the actual architecture of it. You see, a job isn't just a random collection of tasks. It's a carefully designed structure. And understanding that blueprint, well, that can change everything.
I mean, of course you have, right? That feeling of confusion, stepping on someone else's toes, or having your own toes stepped on. That's the friction that comes from a poorly defined role. It is easily one of the most common and, let's be honest, frustrating problems in any workplace.
So the solution to all that chaos? It has a name: role definition. But look, this is not about some boring, simple job description. We are talking about the architectural blueprint that gives your work its shape, its power, and its connection to the bigger picture.
Okay, let's really dive into this idea. The source material calls a well-defined role a cognitive and structural anchor. That's such a powerful phrase. It means your role isn't just floating out there in space. It's the thing that ties your daily efforts directly to the company's biggest goals. Without that anchor, you're just adrift.
So, what we're going to do now is uncover that hidden blueprint. We're shifting our thinking away from seeing a job as just a list of things to do and moving towards understanding it as a complete architecture for making a real impact.
So, how complex is this blueprint, really? Well, get this. The source we're looking at actually identifies 26 distinct dimensions that make up a perfectly clear role. 26! Now don't worry, we are not going through all of them, but that number just goes to show you how deep this really goes. We're going to focus on the absolute most critical components.
You know, every good structure has to start with a solid foundation. And for your role, that foundation is its why, the fundamental reason it even exists in the first place.
And at the very core of that foundation, you've got 3 pillars. Just think of these as the non-negotiables that give your job its legitimacy: its purpose, its mandate, and its accountability.
Let's start with purpose. This is not about what you produce. It's about the meaning behind what you do. Why does the organization even invest resources in this role? A clear purpose is the thing that connects your work to the company's mission. It's what creates real, genuine motivation.
Next up is mandate. And this one is absolutely crucial. See, purpose is the why, but mandate is the officially granted power to actually act on that why. It's the organization basically saying, we authorize you to make these decisions and take these actions. Without a clear mandate, all you have is responsibility with no real authority.
Okay, so we've laid the foundation. Now let's talk about the structure that's built on top of it. The what and the where. This part is all about defining your day-to-day actions and the specific territory where you have the authority to operate.
The what is probably the part you're most familiar with. It's your key responsibilities, those high-impact actions you take every day. It's your function within the larger system, your specific goals, and, of course, the quality standards you're expected to meet. This is the operational part of your blueprint.
But here's where things can get a little tricky. Knowing what you're supposed to do is really only half the battle. It's almost useless if you don't have total clarity on where your authority and responsibilities begin and, just as importantly, where they end.
And this brings us to a really important distinction: scope versus boundaries. Now, they might sound similar, but they're very different. Scope is about the breadth of your work, all the different things you touch. Boundaries, on the other hand, are the hard edges, the clear lines where your job stops and your colleague's job starts. Getting this right is the absolute key to preventing conflict.
This leads us to a powerful idea called the zone of responsibility. Now, this isn't just about where you can act, it's about where you are expected to act. It's the domain where taking charge isn't just an option, it's a core part of your job. It's all about proactive ownership.
So we've looked at the foundation and the structure. Let's bring this all home and talk about the payoff. Why does building this clear architecture for your role actually matter? What are the real, tangible results?
Well, the simple answer is this. A clear blueprint isn't just some feel-good exercise in organizational design. It leads to measurably better performance for you and for the entire company. Ambiguity is the enemy of execution. Plain and simple.
The source material has a great term for this payoff. It's called the yield. This is the concrete, measurable improvement in efficiency, in productivity, and in alignment that you get as a direct return on the investment of creating role clarity. And that yield, it shows up in so many ways. We're talking about higher efficiency, because people aren't duplicating work, better morale, because there's way less frustrating guesswork. You see a drastic reduction in conflict between teams,
Decisions get made faster because it's clear who owns them, and of course, accountability goes way up. So when you boil it all down, the crucial point is this. A well-defined role is so much more than a document. It's a social contract. It's a living, breathing agreement between you and your organization about what's expected, who has the authority to do what, and how success is going to be measured. It is the foundation of a healthy, high-performing professional relationship. And that leaves us with one final question to think about. When you look at your own work, what do you see? Is it just a to-do list, a series of disconnected tasks? Or can you see the blueprint, the architecture that's actually designed for real, strategic impact? Knowing the difference, well, that's the first step.